This segment is brought to you by Stafford Tree Service. If you're located in the Tampa Bay area and looking for a fully licensed, insured tree company, please reach out to my friend, colleague, and sponsor, Kelly Stafford, at 727-546-8786 or Stafford Trees SVC. You also, of course, can hit the link below and let her know that Stan DeFreitas, Mr. Greenthumb, sent you. Let's talk today about one of my favorite plants as far as kind of an unusual plant, and this is sometimes called Golden Dewdrop or Duranta. And Golden Dewdrop has these cute little yellow berries, and because of that, a lot of people grow it just for this part of the plant. Now, the plant does have kind of a nice purpley white flower that comes on first. So you get that really beautiful flower followed by a nice landscape plant. Now, they'll only take to about 20 to 25 degrees. So if you're in a cooler area than that, you probably need to bring it inside. If you do bring it inside, remember it needs high light. And that means you're gonna have to have it within about a foot of a bright window. You can't have it somewhere else. The Golden Dewdrop is one of those plants that makes a nice filler plant. It'll get to probably 4 or 5 feet tall, though normally you're going to keep it trimmed less than that because it gets out of the way. So how do you remember this plant? Well, my son likes to say, "Yacha-cha, Jimmy Durante." You may not use that as your mnemonics, but if you do, you'll remember that Duranta is a great plant for the landscape. It likes it kind of moist, so don't let it get too dry. If you're going to use this plant in a landscape, you may want to have it either where a hose can get to it, a watering can, or your irrigation system. It also, of course, should dry a little bit between, so you don't want it in constant water. And I know the books all say that, and you're going to go, well, what do you mean? Too much water? Too little? Somewhere in between, kind of like the color of the berry. The Goldilocks area is where you want it to have it. In that area where it can live and have enough moisture but not be constantly wet or constantly dry. Near full sun, fertilize it lightly, probably about once a month if you're using a water soluble, maybe once every 3 months if you're using a dry fertilizer. You could use something like 666 or whatever you like to use around your favorite plants. I would add extra organic matter, peat, cow manure, really improve the soil, and this plant will give you years of good service. The Duranta is a plant that you should think about using as a hamburger helper in the landscape, and you could also use it as a foundation plant, meaning out in front of your home. It makes a nice bumper too between all green. You know, so many plants that are hedge plants like podocarpus or yews or ligustrums are all green and never have any real color. This will give you literally probably 10 months a year of flowering and the fruit production. The fruit is not edible. It is technically poisonous, so that's something you need to remember. Wildlife occasionally will eat it, but not good for us. So if you had little kids, you might not want to have it if they like to stick things in their mouths. But other than that, I think it makes a nice kind of a hamburger helper plant, but it's also attractive. So I use it anywhere in the south. If I had it up north, I'd probably use it in an area where it's more protected. Kind of use it as an indoor plant during the middle of the winter season. Other than that, it can be planted outside. In most of Florida, it'll be an outside plant and it'll be a perennial. It'll stay there for a good long length of time. It has kind of a light green to dark green looking foliage, and it has a little serration on some of the edges of the leaf. It's kind of a little scalloped almost. So it is not like a holly, it's not pointy, but it does have that serration. It makes a nice, interesting plant for the landscape. Because of this golden yellow dewdrop, Duranta is often used, and you'll find it in most of the nurseries, garden supply stores. So it's available, it is useful, and it's one that I think you'll find is a nice welcome addition in your landscape. So if you're thinking of adding it to the landscape, make sure you plant it about the same depth level that it was in the container. If anything, plant it a little bit on the pitching mound, as I've talked about before. Make sure you don't plant it too deep, or you'll have, well, you can have problems. Too much water can get you into some rot problems, but in general, it'll do well. Remember, of course, that if you like our new videos, You'll be seeing them drop every Saturday at 10 a.m. on all your social media platforms that you like. And if you like this video, please hit subscribe, and thank you for watching.